I'll link in the show notes to all of this information about my guest and where you can hunt them down. So, who put another log on the fire for the chat today? Was that you, Dr. C? You're looking rather Viking over there. Do you want to kick this off today?
Well, first of all, thank you so much for the very kind introduction, as always. I'm really excited to share this with the three of you. Great to meet you, Luann, for the first time and put a face and voice to the name and all the excellent work I've been seeing online. Joe, always great to catch up with you, mate. It's been, and I'm sure we'll talk about it today, but it's been really fun and really quite rewarding to discuss things with you, to meet you off the bat, really, because of Terry. And it speaks volumes as to how social media has really been playing into improving education and being able to reach across the world, literally and figuratively, and discuss things and compare notes and really make each other better, right, through exchange of ideas. It's been great. So always good to see you again. And Terry, what can I say? You're an animal. Foundations going strength to strength, growing strength to strength, and all the wonderful advocacy work you're doing. And thank you so much for putting all this together. Thank you so much for the kind words. And it's going to be an interesting conversation.
It will. Hey, and guess what, you guys? We are recording this, at least in the US. Dr. Joe, I don't know if this is being celebrated in Australia today, but it's Doctor's Day over here. So I'm just going to say Happy Doctor's Day to both of you.
Cheers.
Yeah, Happy Doctor's Day.
Yeah.
Thank you. It feels special. Isn't every day Doctor's Day?
Yes, it is.
Of course.
Yes. Yes,
it's an extra special.
I'm sure if you ask our nurses, they would say that every day is Doctor's Day. So
there you go.
But no, that's why in Australia we just have Nurses' Days. We don't have Doctors' Days.
Well, we're gonna throw some love your way on Doctor's Day in the US today. So
appreciate it.
Yeah, Dr. Joe, do you want to start out? You got a question? By the way, Dr. C, thank you for those kind words too. I appreciate it. I do.
It's just so much.
It's a tough act to follow.
Well, yeah, it's I mean, just the fact that we're all here together, and how this has come to pass, and it's just very exciting. It's really, it's great. It's great to be here with you guys.
Yeah, I definitely feel that as well. I mean,
yeah.
If I can jump in, is like just to say that it still amazes me that it took really social media for me to be aware of the work Minas is doing. Like, despite the high volumes and kind of the fact that his group has published lots of work in reputed journals and all of that sort of side of things, it was you, Terry, that kind of showed me, kind of through my own patients, becoming aware of your foundation, your Facebook group. There's a lot of Australians who are looking for exactly what you offer and who've found you online and then told me, and then I've been following you for ages. And then it was really kind of through that I think I reached out and said, can you introduce me to Minas? Because I want to learn more about his practice and what he's doing, and try and bring some of that to Australia. And that led to some really great conversations. I think my son maybe sat in on one of them. Minas, I remember you kind of grilling him on how how much rent he pays. Yeah, he's 6 years old.
Has he started paying rent yet? Has he got a job yet?
In cuddles only, I think. At the moment. Yeah,
that's perfect.
Yeah,
take it in trade.
Oh, cuddles. Oh, that's good rent.
Yeah, I know. Definitely, I'll take that any day.
Dr. Joe, that was like the coolest day ever. Every day we open our emails, right? And that day I opened your email and you wanted me to connect you with Dr. C. I was like, oh my gosh, that was a moment for me. That was a moment.
Absolutely. I mean, you're making this possible with all of your efforts, and it's not just patients that you're helping; it's professionals as well. And I don't know that that's recognized enough. And I think that's something which, I guess, highlights how good social media can be when it's a force for good, because it's such a powerful connector of people in so many different ways. I definitely have found that just giving patients that opportunity to interact with curated content rather than just kind of aimlessly searching the internet. I love that when patients ask questions on your forum, you're straight to giving them reputable information, kind of a video of a conversation with an expert as the first thing they look at, as opposed to reading through perhaps people who don't understand the technique, giving negative comments about it, or their own experiences, which may not have been perfect either. And so I feel like that's a great resource that you offer. And I'm just, I guess I'm a fangirl here as much as anyone else for your work. So,
thanks, Dr. Joe.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that.
And just to chime in, me too, I'm a massive fan, Terry fangirl. And, your site and the Facebook group really informed some of the questions that I put through to my medical team that things I'd never even heard of. They weren't even on the radar here in Australia. And then also, obviously, I connected with Joe through your Instagram live that you were doing. I can't remember, before COVID. So that seems like eons ago. So yeah, because it's really interesting, isn't it? I found I was actually doing a master's in information studies when I was diagnosed. So for me, it was really important about, the currency and the reputation of information that was out there. And I struggled in Australia at that time. And my plastic surgeon said to me, look to America. We don't have much here. Look to America. And that's where I found you. Because as you say, Joe, that curated content, I've been trying to think about how we deal with that, because, we are in an information society. The horse is bolted. We're not going to be able to pull it back. How, as patients and patient advocates, how do we help with that curated content? It almost becomes like a complementary content in a way. Like you've got complementary medicines. It's not an alternative. We don't want people going into those alternative truth or facts for stuff. But yeah, it's like, so it was massive to my experience, Terry. Thank you.
Gosh. Well, okay. I'm sitting here talking to
This is one massive love fest, isn't it, really?
Love fest, Terry love fest, isn't it? Yeah. It's a podcast pile-on of love.
I might ask a question then, Terry, which, just to kind of
stop just a second here. Excuse me, love fest. I'm sending that love back to you guys. Where does that curated content come from? I ask for help and I get it.
Mm.
And so I'm just going to shout out to all of you guys. So we can stop our love fest, I guess. We'll just keep it going. It's been really fun. I like it. But seriously, this is, Luann and I have talked about this. There cannot be competition in this space. It has to be collaboration. And it's part of why I have you guys on the podcast. So, okay, Dr. Joe, sorry for the interruption. I had to throw that in there. It's important to me.
You can't all be rosy, right? And I think we all know that social media has sort of two sides to it. So I thought maybe a question for you, Terry, and then Luann as well is, have you seen any real disadvantages as far as we've kind of been talking a bit about the benefits of connectedness of social media, but maybe if you guys could let us know if there have been any, what pros and cons really of the social media with your patient advocacy work.
Yeah, I'd be happy to talk to that.
Go ahead, Luann.
I've only recently started sort of, if you want to use the term patient advocate, I've only recently started that. I have been microblogging Instagram for a while, but only recently shifted into that advocacy space. And I acknowledge it's a really tricky space for lots of people, for whether that's patients or professionals. I think I'm predominantly in Instagram, space really. And I think one of the disadvantages that we have there, but it's also, it can be an advantage, is that, the information that's put out there is information that, because you can't put links in Instagram, for instance, it is content that is created by whoever usually is putting that information into that caption. So it's hard to get that information sort of verified if you wanted to use the CARP or the crack test to look at who's written that and where's that come from, unless it's actually got a link in bio, or now you can put a link in stories. It's really difficult to maybe verify what the veracity of that information is. So I think that's one of the disadvantages of the Instagram space for me. But actually, it can actually protect in a way from